I won't pursue truth. So, what's going on in Russia, or I should say Ukraine, this whole escalation, whether it's to do with gas, whether it's to do with Russia not wanting Ukraine to join NATO, whether there's some other reason. The problem is, in the West, obviously, we're brought up with a certain mindset, and when we see the news, I don't think I can genuinely say that it is truly independent, because the people who are journalists also are brought up with that mindset. Like in this day and age, the Middle East and China and Russia being like the so-called enemy. But it just reminds me of that Paul McCartney song, Big Boys Bickering. That this is what these big politicians are wasting their time with. And this only works if you believe in the system as it is. The system it is where we've decided that we can cut up bits of land and possess that. But imagine the world differently. And this is not an impossibility, because if you think about it, who has the right to own a bit of land? We've all found ourselves upon this place. We don't know why we're here. Because of the things that people did in the past, that people who couldn't even understand technology today or thought processes. Well, I know that's a bit unfair, but that's not fair really, because we don't know. People may have been smarter back then, but let's just go with the evolution idea. But they've come up with this idea of that, well, I'm here, I'm going to say this is my bit of land, put a flag there, build a society, and then I'm going to go to other places and take that bit over and say that's mine, or give it names or whatever, like we gave animals names and everything that we found upon this place names. But imagine if we had the mindset, if we were taught, all of us as children, that we found ourselves here, and this is equally all of ours or none of ours, that no one can possess anything, much like we say about the moon or Jupiter or Uranus or whatever planet you want to assume they exist, say. Imagine we had that mindset that we wouldn't need passports. What would we fight about? You see, this whole issue of Ukraine and Russia and America and UK, the Cold War and this kind of Cold War type tactics, it's all about possession, it's all about pride, it's all about aggression, it's all about that mindset that I would say is called the old world, old ways. But think about it, if we lived in a world where there was no possession, to quote John Lennon, the countries maybe had names, but they weren't, you could go wherever you wanted. We could help out each other, because we wouldn't have to worry about, this bit, it has to be greater than this bit. We can't let China overtake America. So we create these types of things so it doesn't happen, all that kind of stuff. What you could call wasted effort. Imagine how we would be if we lived like that we didn't have that mindset and we just worked together as humanity, as truly we are. What's so crazy about that? Rather than wasting time over all these issues that are just stopping us from solving all the real issues of the world, while they're bickering about this, like with Biden and Afghanistan and the Taliban, etc., not giving the funds, or going and giving to victims of 9/11, etc., rather than the children that are starving in a country that 20 years was occupied by the West, and they could have rebuilt it like they did, it was done in Germany after the Second World War. They could have rebuilt it so that this kind of thing couldn't happen, give it infrastructure, and that 20 years and the billions of pounds that they must have spent on that country. Yet they left it in such a state that in less than 6 months, when Taliban took over, they're selling their children and cutting out organs, all these wasted things. And this is, the pharmaceutical companies competing against each other, people not trusting pharmaceutical companies because they don't know what toxin they're putting in, because everything's about money in this place. That's the other big problem, possession and money. But imagine how we would live if we didn't live like that. Why do we choose to live like that still in this day and age, when surely we can see that we're all, and also that would stop all these racial and all these kind of discriminatory things, because we wouldn't put everyone in these different things, because we'd see each other as human beings, fellow human beings. We can help each other out like you'd help your neighbour out, because everyone will be your neighbour. Everyone is your brother and sister. Truly, that is the truth. The other things, this idea you have of being British, American or Chinese, Russian, whatever, that's man-made concepts. That's a label that you were given 1,000 years ago by a person you don't even know. That's not truly what you are. When you're born, you don't even know your name. You're given it. We're all the same. We're all human beings. That's our race. And why would we choose not to help each other out? What benefit is there for this? If you see the planet as ourselves, rather than see your country or family, see the whole of this. Well, I shouldn't say that's the planet, a flat earth or round, if you want to say it that way, whichever one it is. See that as the whole of what you are. And that is truly what you are anyway. So wouldn't it be better if we lived like that, and then we could sort out lots of things? We could find cures for cancer and HIV. We could find, we could build, every country could have a great infrastructure, because what's stopping us? It's not resources. We have plenty of resources. It's not manpower. We've got plenty of manpower. The thing that's stopping us is the money, which is a man-made concept, and also possession. So what's stopping us is this concept that we live in, this system that we live in. Isn't that fucking crazy, no? Isn't it? That the one existence that we get, children will die, people will have a poor life because we want to keep a system that we've inherited that we know doesn't actually work for everyone. I don't know if that's crazy or madness or is it disgusting that we still, even those people with power, religious power or economic power or power in the land of, they've been given kings or queens or politicians or whatever, and none of them are raising these things. None of them are pushing for the removal of the system and for us all to be one. What will it take for that? Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.